Hey guys, so today we're going to be going through the developmental approach. So we've been through 4 of the approaches so far. We're going to go through this last one and then we're going to start on the perspectives. Now this one, I'm hoping that you guys are used to kind of what we've been going through by now. And I'm going to be asking you guys to have a go at a lot of this on your own. So I am going to create a Google Doc and it's going to be an assignment on Google Classroom again, and I'm going to be asking you to upload quite a few bits on there. Now I've just learned how to use Google Docs properly and I know how to upload something on there now where you can all kind of edit your own document. You don't have to add a picture or anything like that. So along with this post, there will also be an assignment for you. And on this assignment, I'm going to be asking you to put all of the activities that are in the booklet onto that document, please. So we'll start off with the 2 studies that are in this area. We've got Banjora and we've got Cheney. So Banjora is the classical and Cheney is the contemporary study in this area. And the key theme for these is the external influences on behaviour. So external influence on behaviour, basically things that are outside of us that may affect our behaviour. So for Banjora, the external influence is the role model, the fact that they observe and imitate behaviour from role models. For Cheney, the external influence is the fun hailer, the positive reinforcement, you know, the reward from the fun hailer with the toy and the whistle, etc. So we've got to look at how the core studies link to the key theme. Now, you've got Banjora's linked to the key theme already in your booklet, and you can see that right here. It says Banjora's study links to the key theme external influences on behaviour, as he looked at the external influence of a role model on children's aggressive and non-aggressive behaviours. And then, so you've told me how it links, then you've got to give me some evidence for that. So his study focused on the role of social learning theory, the idea that we observe and imitate behaviour. The external influence in this case was a role model that reacted to toys in front of the children. The researcher then observed how the children would respond to watching the role model, and they found that in an aggressive condition, the children copied aggressive acts, and the same was for the non-aggressive condition. Therefore, Banjora's study links the key theme of external influences as he provides evidence for people being an external influence. Now, you guys have got to have a go for Cheney. So Cheney links the key theme of external influence on behaviour as he looked at what? What was the external influence? So what was the external influence? You've got to pop that down in your booklets. Now, once you put it in your booklets, I want you to type it up on that Google document on the assignment, please. So this one document will have quite a few bits in it. And like I said, I will kind of walk you through the process, but it needs to have how Cheney links to the key theme, okay? So how it links to the key theme. So what was external influence? What did he find? Give me some evidence. Make sure you've got evidence in there, so some numbers. And then, you know, the link back. Therefore, this is how it links to the key theme of external influence on behaviour. So I want this in the document. I want a full paragraph on how Cheney's study links to the key theme. Along with that, I also want you guys to have a go at, you know, basically filling in this little section here. So does this contemporary study change our understanding of the key theme? So does it change our understanding, yes or no, about what we already know about external influences? Now we know that Banjora, their external influence was a person, a role model. Cheney, their external influence was a toy, okay? It was a concept, positive reinforcement, getting rewarded so that the behaviour happens again. So it does actually change our understanding of external influences because it tells us that it's not only people that can be external influences, but other things as well, such as positive reinforcement. Now, I've written that at the bottom of this PowerPoint. You can see it says, Cheney changes our understanding of external influences on behaviour. This is because he found that operant conditioning, specifically positive reinforcement, had an impact on the children's behaviour, as children that used the fun inhaler had successfully used it more than the normal inhaler. I want you to find a result and pop that in there. This needs to be copied into your workbooks with the result, but also I want you to copy and paste once you've put that result in into the Google Doc. So underneath the link to the key theme, I want, does it change our understanding of the key theme as well? So I want that in there. And then could you just have quickly read through the, does it change our understanding of individual social and cultural diversity? So if you could pause this video and you could read through that, that would be great. And then you can come back to it once you've had a read through. Okay, so starting with the developmental approach then. So the assumptions of the developmental approach. Now, I love the developmental approach. I think if I was going to choose which area I would want to kind of work in, it would be the developmental approach. The assumptions of the developmental area basically believes that behaviour develops through a person's lifespan, although the majority of developmental changes happen in childhood. They also believe that both nature and nurture can cause developmental changes. Now, the best thing about the developmental developmental approach is that it's a lot more holistic than other approaches. Why? Because actually the developmental approach looks at not just your kind of how you're affected by people around you, but also looks at things like your innate behavior. So language, for example, they would try to explain as being a process of both nature and nurture. The next thing they assume about behavior is that they believe that behavior happens in stages. So behavior happens in a number of stages. Now, this one won't be as important to you until second year, because actually Bandura and Cheney don't really look at stages of life, but the two second year developmental studies do actually look at stages. And then the last one is developmental psychologists believe that behavior develops as a result of aging, or also known as maturation. So those are the four assumptions of the developmental approach. Now you've got to know how the studies link to, that says cognitive, that should say development, link to the developmental area. So how does the research illustrate the developmental area? So when we're looking at Bandura, how does Bandura link to the developmental approach? What do they look at? Do they look at both nature and nurture? Now here is a little bit of help for you. What I want you guys to do is in that document on Google Classroom, I want you to add how Bandura links to the developmental approach and how Cheney links to the developmental approach. And you need to make sure that you've got 4 things therefore on that Google document. How the studies link to the key themes, specifically for Cheney, because we've done Bandura already. How it changes our understanding of the key theme. So does a contemporary study change our understanding of the key theme? So in that one, you're really just adding the result and then copy and pasting it. And then how each of these 2 core studies links to the developmental area. You guys know what you have to do now. You've got to tell me an assumption. How does the study link? And make sure you've got a finding for evidence to back up what you are saying. Now in this PowerPoint, there is some help you can see for Cheney and Bandura about kind of key points of the study. So it says, for example, Bandura found that children did not imitate the behavior of the children did imitate the behavior of the role model, showing that aggression can be learned, nurture, but he also looks at the role of nature as well. So does that link to a specific assumption? And if it does, can you give me some evidence from Bandura as well to back that up? And there's a little bit of help here in the Cheney section as well. So it mentions about nurture affecting children's development, and you could possibly link this to the fact that behavior happens as a result of aging, and or behavior happens during childhood. So if we want a certain behavior to show, we need to affect them in childhood. So positive reinforcement, Cheney usually worked on children, didn't he? So does that link in some way? But I want you to have a go at that and upload that onto that Google document. So it'll all be one document, and I'm going to be popping some notes in there as we go through the class. And then we've got our strengths and weaknesses. So the developmental area strengths is that it's more holistic. Now you should be copying this into your booklets. But this developmental area strengths is that it's more holistic than the others. Why? Because it's not just taking a reductionist standpoint. It's not just saying, your behavior happens as a result of nature only, or your behavior happens as a result of nurture only. It's saying it's actually both of them, nature and nurture. Therefore it's holistic because it's taking both sides of the argument. So yeah, do pause this video and copy that one into your booklets. The next strength I've got is that it's useful. Like I said, everything in psychology is useful. So one strength is that it's useful because it has practical applications. For example, if we understand the external influences that affect children's behaviour, we can usually make changes to make some positive change in society. So for example, if we know that positive reinforcement works on children taking their medication, then maybe we can use it more often with different medications as well to make sure they take their medication in the future. And then you can use Cheney as an example for that. Again, you can pause this video and you can pop those into your booklet as well. Then our weaknesses, we've got actually the major weakness of this area is that most of its research tends to be conducted on children. So most research, I'm going to put tends to be conducted on children, which means the research can lack validity. What type of validity does it lack? Generally population, because usually we're trying to look at, in the developmental approach, we're trying to look at the development of people. Now, not just children alone, so it lacks population validity because children may think differently to adults, and then how can we actually generalize that behavior? So again, you can copy that up into your workbook. And then we've got our last weakness is that it lacks generalizability. This is very, very similar to the last point. So the first one is about validity and it lacking population validity, but not just population, but also just validity in general, because children think so differently to the researchers who are testing them. How can we generalize that? But then the samples themselves tend to lack generalizability as well. And that's because adult behavior is more complex than child's behavior. So again, you can copy that up. So I know I've been quite fast with this one, but what I want you to do is, like I said, I want you to be working on that Google document. So it should take you a little bit of a while to do that. So copy up the strengths and weaknesses, make sure you've got all of the information in your booklet, but then I also want you to write it into the Google document. So I don't just want you to be typing, to take a picture, because if you take a picture, I can't actually put any comments on it. So I'll prefer you to type that up, and that's why the video is so short, because it's going to take you a while to write it into your booklet, but also onto the Google document, okay? But that's it, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you, bye-bye.